It is fatal to work for one thing and to expect something else, because everything must be created mentally first and is bound to follow its mental pattern. No one can become prosperous while he really expects or half expects to remain poor. We tend to give what we expect, and to expect nothing is to get nothing. Most people do not face life in the right way. They neutralize a large part of their effort because their mental attitude does not correspond with their endeavor. So, while working for one thing, they are really expecting something else. They discourage, drive away the very thing they are pursuing by holding the wrong mental attitude towards it. They do not approach their work with that assurance of victory which attracts, which forces results, that determination and confidence which knows no defeat. To be ambitious for wealth and yet always expect to be poor, to be always doubting your ability to get what you long for, is like trying to reach east by traveling west. There is no philosophy which will help a man to succeed when he is always doubting his ability to do so and therefore attracting failure. The man who would succeed must think success, must think upward, he must think progressively, creatively, constructively, inventively, and above all, optimistically. You will go in the direction in which you face. If you look towards poverty, towards lack, you will go that way. If, on the other hand, you turn around and refuse to have anything to do with poverty, to think it, live it, or recognize it, you will then begin to make progress towards the goal of plenty. Many of us work at cross purposes because while we would like to be rich, we believe in our hearts that we will not be so, and our mental attitude, the pattern which the life processes follow, makes impossible the very thing we are working for. It is our poverty attitude, our doubt and fear, our lack of self-faith and faith in the all-abundant infinite supply that makes us poor. You must not play the part of a poor man while you're exerting all your energy to make money. You must get into a prosperous mental attitude. As long as you carry about a poorhouse atmosphere with you, you will make a poorhouse impression, and that will never attract money. Every time you allow yourself to complain, to say, "I am poor, I can never do what others do, I will never be rich, I don't have the abilities that others have, I'm a failure, luck is against me," you're creating so much trouble for yourself, making it all the more difficult to get rid of these enemies of your peace and happiness. For every time you think of them, they will go a little deeper and deeper into your subconscious mind. Thoughts are magnets which attract things like themselves. If your mind dwells upon poverty and disease, it will bring you poverty and disease. There is no possibility of producing the opposite of what you are holding in your mind because your mental attitude is the pattern which is built into the life. Your accomplishments are achieved mentally first. No matter how hard you may work for success, if your thought is saturated with the fear of failure, it will kill all of your efforts, neutralize your endeavors, and make success impossible. The terror of failure and the fear of coming to want and, if possible, humiliation, keep multitudes of people from obtaining the very things they desire by sapping their vitality and incapacitating them through worry and anxiety for the effective creative work necessary to give them success. The habit of looking at everything constructively, from the bright, hopeful side, the side of faith and assurance, instead of from the side of doubt and uncertainty, and the habit of believing that the best is going to happen, that the right must triumph, the faith that truth is bound finally to conquer error, that harmony and health are the reality and discord and disease the temporary absence of it. This is the attitude of the optimist which will ultimately reform the world. Optimism is a builder. It is to the individual what the sun is to vegetation. It is the sunshine of the mind which constructs life, beauty, and growth and everything within its reach. Our mental faculties grow and thrive in it just as the plants and trees grow and thrive in the physical sunshine. Pessimism is negative. It is the darkened dungeon which destroys vitality and strangles growth. A fatal penalty waits for those who always look on the dark side of everything, who are always predicting failure, who see only the seamy, disagreeable side of life. They draw upon themselves what they see, what they look for. Nothing has power to attract things unlike itself. Everything radiates in its own quality and attracts things which are akin. If a person wants to be happy and wealthy, they must think happy thoughts, hold abundance thoughts, and not limit themselves. The person who has a mortal dread of poverty generally gets it. Stop thinking trouble if you want to attract its opposite. Stop thinking poverty if you want to attract wealth. Do not have anything to do with the things you have been fearing, they are fatal enemies to your advancement. Cut them off, expel them from your mind, forget them. Think the opposite thoughts just as persistently as you can, and you will be surprised to see how soon you will begin to attract the very things you want. The mental attitude which we hold toward our work and our aim has everything to do with what we accomplish. If you go to work with the attitude of a slave chained to his desk and seeing it only labor, if you work without hope, see no future in what you are doing beyond getting a bare living, if you see no light ahead, nothing but poverty, deprivation, and hard work all your life, if you think you were destined to such a hard life, do not expect to get anything else than what you look at. If, on the other hand, no matter how poor you may be today, you can see a better future, if you believe that someday you're going to rise out of dull work, if you are going to get up out of the basement of life into the drawing room where beauty, comfort, and joy wait for you, if your ambition is clean-cut and you keep your eyes steadily upon the goal which you hope to reach and feel confident that you have the ability to attain, you will accomplish something worthwhile. Keeping the faith that we will do the thing that we cannot now see any possible way of accomplishing, just holding steadily the mental attitude, the belief that we will accomplish it, that somehow, someway, it will come to us, the clinging of our vision gets the mind into such a creative condition that it becomes a magnet to draw the thing desired. Try to keep your mind in an uplifting, building attitude. Never allow yourself for an instant to harbor a doubt that you are finally going to accomplish what you undertake. These doubts are treacherous, they destroy your creative ability, neutralize ambition. Constantly say to yourself, I must have what I need, it is my right, and I'm going to. There's a great cumulative magnetic effect in holding in your mind continually the thought that you were made for success, for good health, for happiness, for usefulness, and that nothing in the world but yourself can keep you from it. Man was not intended to be a puppet of circumstances, a slave to his environment. He was intended to make his environment, to create his condition. Nothing comes to us without cause, and that cause is mental. Our mental attitude creates our condition of success or failure. The result of our work will correspond with the nature of our thoughts, our habitual mental attitude. To produce, the mind must be kept in a positive, creative condition. A discordant, worrying, despondent, poverty-facing mental attitude will quickly render the mind negative and will produce a troop of mental enemies that will effectively bar the way to success and happiness. Our mental faculties are like servants that give us exactly what we expect of them. If we trust them, if we depend on them, they will give us their best. If we are afraid, they will be afraid. Negative characters wait for things to happen. They have a feeling that somehow things are going to happen anyway and that they cannot do much to change them. It is the positive, constructive mental attitude that has accomplished all of the great things in the world. It is the creative, aggressive, pushing, stimulating power that is behind all achievement. A strong, vigorous character creates a condition that will force things to happen. Many positive bonds become negative by influences which destroy their self-confidence. They gradually lose faith in themselves. Perhaps this begins through the suggestion of incompetence from others, the suggestion that they do not know their business or are not equal to the position they hold. After a while, through this subtle suggestion, initiative is weakened. The victims do not undertake things with quite the same vigor as before. they gradually lose their power of quick decision and soon fear to decide anything of importance. Their minds become vacillating, therefore, instead of the leaders they once were, they become followers. What we vigorously resolve to do, believe in with all our heart, confidently expect, the mental forces tend to realize. The very intensity of expectation enlists the vigor of all the mental processes in trying to accomplish things. In other words, all the forces of the mind fall into line with our expectation and resolution. Our expectancy, our determination to achieve the thing that we have our heart set on, forms a pattern, a working model which the mind endeavors to reproduce in reality. It is the mental picture which is used as the model for the creative forces. The man who is endowed with great expectancy and is determined to reach his goal, by his very resolution gets rid of a lot of success enemies which trip up the weak and the irresolute. There is a mysterious power in the great within which we cannot explain but which we all feel to be there, which tends to carry out our commands, our resolves, whatever they may be. The mental loom weaves whatever pattern we give it, it reproduces the ideal whether of discord or harmony, error or truth, courage or cowardice. The characteristics of the model are very quickly transferred to the subject. You will find a tremendous help in constantly affirming that you are the person you wish to be, not that you hope to be, but that you actually are now. You will be surprised to see how quickly the part which you assume will be realized in your life, will be outpictured in your character. The moment the building up process, the chemical force in the soil, in the atmosphere, in the sunshine, in the rain, ceases to operate upon the plant, upon the fruit, upon the tree, the harmful elements set in and decaying destruction are certain. So, the moment the building up and creative principles in man cease to dominate, the moment he loses confidence in them, the tearing down and destructive elements begin their work. There is everything in keeping the mind saturated with one's aim until it becomes a life habit, and setting the life currents and all of the forces within us towards the goal of our ambition. This will, after a while, create a sort of tide which will tend to float things our way. We must look out for the cross-currents which bring discord, the thought currents of hatred, jealousy, envy, or unkind feelings towards others, the thought currents of revenge, of malice, for all these are enemies which sap our energies and handicap our progress. Anything which produces discord cripples our effort. We must have harmony, peace of mind, freedom of thought to get efficiency. In other words, all the thought currents must be creative instead of destructive, currents of courage, confidence, and determination. These are the electrical mental forces which bring success. It is a great art to learn to clear the mind of fear, anxiety, and all the things that hinder, and to fill it with vigorous, hopeful, uplifting thoughts. This is what puts the mind into the producing, creative attitude. The time will come when we will all be able to keep our minds in a productive, creative attitude all the time. Then our lives will be filled with an abundance of all that is good. I hope you like this video, subscribe for more such videos. Thanks for watching.